I just saw a video that makes me so angry, like so mad, so fucking mad. And I'll tell you why it makes me mad. If you're on my WhatsApp, or you know anyone who has me on WhatsApp, you know that every 2 days, every 3 days, I put on my story that we don't tell men what they look like enough anymore. We don't tell men what they look like enough anymore. In the 90s, in the 80s, even in the early 2000s, all of the stars, all of the singers, the rappers, the actors had a certain look to them. If they weren't particularly good looking in the face, they worked on their body until they were some kind of sex symbol. And I feel like nowadays we're platforming anyone and anything, and we're not, there are no rules anymore. Anyone and anything can come as long as they're misogynistic enough. We need to gatekeep clout for men again. Like, okay, and I'll tell you why I say that. I came across a video of Naquueda sitting down with a guy named Bruce, who I've seen odd videos of here and there. Seems to be, I don't know, a YouTuber or something. Now, in this video, Naquueda is sat there and she's sobbing. Yo, cause yeah. She sat there and she's sobbing, essentially trying to get understood, trying to be seen by this man, trying to explain to him how much he hurt her. She literally says, dating you has been so embarrassing for me, because every time I'm literally crying every day. I have bags under my eyes because I'm always crying because I'm dating you. I hate that she has to experience that. I hate that she has to experience that, especially over that fucking ogre. I'm gonna be nice. I'm not the type of person who drags people for how they look, but I don't know in what world that man could even breathe in her direction. I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Like, there's such a huge discrepancy in just purely optics. There's such a vast difference. There's no world where he should have had access to her, and I hate that he did. Naquueda, anytime that I've interacted with her content, gives me early 20s, like 24 and under. So she gives me that era, like early 20s. I'm still trying to figure out what my vibe is and stuff like that. And in that era, you're very unaware of who you are. Even when you're put on certain platforms, even when you have certain kinds of talents, all of those things, like, she's a girl, a beautiful, gorgeous girl, fire body, gets paid to come sit there, be pretty, and discuss things. She has a platform that a lot of young women probably envy. I don't think she's aware of all of that. And I really hate that Bruce got to her before she was able to settle into her womanhood, to settle into, you know what, I'm really fucking Naquueda, bro. Like, before she understood herself and understood what a privilege it is for anyone to be able to have access to her. And the worst part is that when she then finally gets to her mid to late 20s, she will then realize that none of this shit was ever going to change how this man acts, because the core of the situation is the fact that she's either with someone who is getting off on humbling her, or she's with someone who's so insecure that he needs that validation. He has to constantly cheat on her to feel like something, because he's unwilling to figure out what it is, what that gaping hole in his chest is. He's unwilling to walk towards himself to understand why he feels that way. So no matter how many times you beg him to see you, no matter how many times you pour into him, you will be depleted. Those bags will get bigger. You need to move around. You need to move around, Naquueda. You need to move around. You need to move around. You need to move around. Get out of that man's way. Get out of your own way. You need to move around. Because I can tell you for free, we've all seen that man's face. We know he had a tough time in high school. He had a tough time in primary school. So a lot of what you're dealing with likely stems from insecurity. And now he's on his like vengeance arc where he gets to, I don't know, like redeem himself. He gets to finally fuck the girls he's always wanted to fuck. He gets to finally mistreat the women who told him he was ugly and broke. But he finally gets to be that guy he's always wanted to be, because now he has a little bit of clout, he has a little bit of money, and he's dating Naquueda, which gives him the bad bitch cosign that men often need when they will be serial cheaters. So the fact that he's standing next to you platforms him in a way that you would not believe. Move around. And I'm speaking from experience because in my early 20s, I was relatively popular on Facebook, within the Facebook community, because I, first of all, was a crackhead. I spoke my mind. I said whatever the fuck I wanted. But more than that, I was still very heavily promoting my music career as a rapper. So I was still in that upcoming hungry phase. And so that gave me a little bit of popularity, which meant that when I started dating, I had the misfortune of dealing with someone who had grown up insecure, had grown up uncool, someone who's never experienced walking through a crowd and people being aware of your presence. And so when he started dating me, he was experiencing so much attention and people wanting to fuck him because he's Venus Raps' boyfriend. And then ultimately, I was now dealing with a serial cheater, which then meant I was sitting there questioning myself a lot of the time when it was never me. And I can tell you for free, when I moved around, you know what happened? Till this day, I dated that man before 2020, I think like in 2017, 18. And till this day, he's in my DMs, literally speaking to himself, begging, because something I realized is that everything I thought that man was merely a reflection of myself back to me. All the love I thought he had, all the coolness I thought he had, all the funny quips I thought he had were me. It was my sense of humor reflected back to me, my loving nature reflected back to me, my coolness reflected back to me. But I couldn't see that because I hadn't settled into my womanhood. So again, Naquueda, move around. That man is never going to see you. The longer you stay, the more he thinks you can take, and the more you boost his ego. He does not need that. What you need is, I don't know if you need a whole phase, a year of celibacy, whatever it is, but at the end of it, move around. Move around. Move around. You're better than him. You're better than this. Move around.